The Wind in the Pines by Kenneth Brad Barfield. There's a section in the Old Forest Echoes magazines called The Wind in the Pines. Those who have never heard it might pass over the phrase, never giving it much thought. But if you've stood in the middle of an old pine forest, especially one with trees tall and dense enough to hold history in their trunks, you know exactly what those words mean. It's a sound that isn't just heard, it's felt. The Forest Echoes magazines, which ran until the late 1950s or early 1960s, were deeply rooted in Crossett and Ashley County. Unlike later company publications, this one was focused on the life of the people, the town, the sawmills, the forests, and the very industry that built the area. It covered forestry, sawmilling, paper milling, psychology, safety, health, and even taxes. But one of the most intriguing sections was The Wind in the Pines. Often penned by J.B. Posey, it was a place for reflection, for wisdom, for things that didn't quite fit anywhere else. It carried a knowingness, an understanding of something larger at play, something you had to experience to truly comprehend. I remember the first time I really heard the wind in the pines. Not just the sound, but the experience of it. It was 2013, and I was standing under a grove of old pines near Sumter, just across the Saline River. The trees were ancient, towering over an old house place, remnants of a past that the forest was slowly reclaiming. The wind moved through them in waves, not harsh, not soft, just steady. It created a song, one that seemed to whisper secrets from the past. Then something happened that made the moment even more profound. A flock of Canadian geese flew over, their wings cutting through the air above me. As they passed, their wind seemed to press down onto the wind already moving through the trees. It felt like the air itself was breathing, like the trees inhaled and exhaled in time with the geese. The geese moved on, but the wind remained, shifting, adjusting, pushing forward, then pulling back. It was as if the pines themselves were alive, responding to the rhythm of the sky. That was the moment I truly understood what the wind in the pines meant. It wasn't just a poetic phrase or a fitting title for a magazine section. It was an experience, one shared across time. The men who built Crossett, who worked in the forests and the sawmills, they must have felt it too. Maybe Posey himself had stood under those same trees, listening to that same wind, and understood that they were part of something bigger. They weren't just cutting trees and processing lumber. They were shaping a world, one that would outlast them, one that still lingers in the whisper of the wind through the pines. And maybe, just maybe, Posey knew that one day, someone like me would stand under those trees and hear it too. That's the beauty of something as timeless as the wind in the pines. It carries forward, long after the people who first heard it are gone.